Hey guys, Andrew here with another episode of Circuits Anonymous, and for today's episode, I thought I would try to build the most expensive computer on PC Partpicker that's currently possible. Stupid idea, well, kinda, but you have to admit, you kinda wanna know what the most expensive rig on the planet would look like, right? Let's move on. First up is the processor. PC Partpicker has the most expensive chip as being an Intel Xeon E5 2697, which honestly looks like a mistake since the E5 2699 is right underneath. That does happen sometimes with PC Partpicker, so we'll go with the E5 2699. Next, we'll pick out a power supply. That would bring us to the Cooler Master Master Watt Maker 1200. Now, if I recall correctly, this is like a special edition PSU on 100% made in Japan with like a lifetime guarantee, warranty, or something like that. Okay, case time. Jeez. It would appear that the most expensive case is an InWin X-Frame test bench, which I would really like to consider like an actual enclosed case. Runner-up in this category would be the Phantix Enthu Elite, which comes in at about $900. Ooh-wee. I'm sure picking out a video card is going to be hilariously fun. If you're wondering if I'm being salty, then you're right. The graphics card market is an absolute dumpster fire right now, but I digress. I'm going to skip over workstation cards because I'd like to at least guarantee system functionality, which brings us to a GTX 1080 Founders Edition card, which is going for about $1,500. So how's about two for SLI? I could add a bunch of drives here, but let's just go with the most expensive drive possible. Okay, so there's an 8 terabyte helium drive that's going for like $8,000. Oh man, I really have no idea what's going on anymore. Okay, obviously we're going to max out the possible RAM, which would be a 128 gig kit of Trident Z RGB memory. That's actually not bad. Okay, moving on. Right. Motherboard time. Apparently the only motherboard that's compatible with the rest of this configuration is an ASRock X99 Extreme 11. Lastly is the CPU cooler, which would be a Cooler Master Master Liquid Pro 280. Alright, so it's really no surprise here that this build makes absolutely no sense. Firstly, we're looking at an older platform, X99. We're also looking at a bunch of unnecessary and impractical parts like an 8 terabyte helium hard drive that you're never going to see any benefit from. In fact, it's probably going to be a lot slower than any SSD. And this rig even includes some super overpriced GTX 1080s. Yeah. Final price for this build comes in at a whopping $19,248.81. How's about we try this again, but actually build a more modern and practical system? Let's start with motherboard so I can at least guarantee, something a little newer. Most high-end board is going to look like the Asus ROG Rampage 6 Extreme. Yeah, okay, I'm down with this one. Next up is a matching processor, which would be the Core i9 7980XE, an 18-core behemoth of a CPU. For reference, I use the 7820X in my personal build. For RAM, we're going to pick a 128 gig kit of Trident Z, but the kit that's marked at 3866 megahertz, which is going to give us a little slightly more performance than the RGB kit, which only comes in at 3200 megahertz. For storage, I wanted to pick the largest and fastest NVMe SSD that I could get. I settled on the Samsung 960 Pro 2 terabyte NVMe, which still costs like $1,200. For CPU cooler, I'm going with the NZXT X72, which is a 360mm CPU cooler with greater fan range than most other AIOs at that size and price point. And now for the ever popular video card choice. I'm just gonna pick out two 1080 Ti's for GTX from NVIDIA because why not? 4K beasts. Yeah, I could probably put Titans in here, but Next is the case. Really could have picked anything under the sun here, but I decided on the new Define R6 from Fractal, mostly because it's new and seems to be a culmination of all the best of recent PC innovations. And lastly is the power supply. I chose the Corsair HX1200, which is a platinum rated power supply, super efficient, definitely a lot of wattage for future proofing. Final price for this build is $8,441.11, which is less than half the price and definitely a lot more powerful than the Xeon build. This PC build is kind of like, I really don't want to have to build another PC again for like 8 to 10 years. And it goes without saying at this point that spending more money on parts doesn't necessarily net you a more powerful system, but that by doing some research and selecting the best parts based on compatibility and platform, you can create a newer, more powerful system than would be possible than just going by price alone. Tell me what you think about this video. I thought about doing a silly video like this for a while now, and it really opened my eyes about how misleading building a PC for a new person could really be. It's really no wonder that there's so many people watching tech videos on YouTube when it's kind of hard to find the right information, like what's the right PC build for me being you, the viewer in this case. Maybe I'll do some videos like that in the future, and tell me how you feel. Either way, thanks for watching, and consider getting subscribed if you aren't already. This is Andrew with Circuits Anonymous, and I'm signing off.